The mistake that you made is you let us in the first place. See, that's the thing with brown people. And I'm going to say this as a brown person. There's a lot of us. You know what happens with brown folks? Our grandmother comes, our grandfather comes, our uncle comes, our aunt comes, our cousin comes, our second cousin comes,
We're saying
our
the same
third cousin
thing.
comes. Then we have kids, a bunch of kids.
People from Somalia coming here and still pretending like it's Somalia. People coming here from Mexico and not learning the language. They're not refugees. They're sending their money back and they're going to the land they fled on long weekends. Stay there. You're not welcome here. This whole topic sort of resulted in what I would say is one of President Trump's most serious or maybe most meaningful truth posts that I can remember. He wrote, "The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, census, parentheses, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. It didn't exist. It didn't. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, the horse whisperer, does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst, quote, congressman/woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling pajamas. But it's not Jesus in that swaddle.
Nope.
It's a terrorist. And who probably came into the USA illegally, in that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she's treated when her place of origin is a decadent, backwards, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. You can fill it in. I'm sure you will. Nailed it. And when people say nothing gets done, look, this president is far from perfect.
Different.
This is a different approach. Republicans used to always have to say, no, they used to say we're a nation of immigrants, and as long as you come in legally. He's now calling it out specifically, saying, no, this is not good for this country. And by the way, this is mainstream now. That's a good thing. It also caught Tim Walz off guard, and he was forced to do some deep self-reflection.
I'm retarded?
I guess so.
And while he was out at it, by the way, I think one of the you can comment. I think one of his best truth posts, honestly,
Yeah.
It really struck the right chord. He was, I guess, on a writing sort of frenzy. He knocked his letter out of the park to Santa as well to make sure it gets there in time. Dear Santa, excuse me, I know Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen. We all know Vixen. I even know Comet, Cupid, and Donner and Blitzen, and I also know people tell me that you've been ignoring FAA regulations for years, frankly, long time, and that you've been traveling in and out of the United States on an overstayed visa. I don't know what that is, why you're doing that. Expired in 1947. It's old, very long enough to know better. I know you plan to bring your goods into our country without declaring them to customs, bypassing our tariffs. Other than that, Merry Christmas to all, to everybody, except Santa.
You'll get right on that.
Yeah.
That's
He speaks
effective.
truth to power.
And by the way, get this elf off my shelf.
Don't start.
Always watching me.
So, by the way, 19 countries that are subject to the travel ban or restricted travel now include Afghanistan, Myanmar, Congo, Haiti, Iran, Sudan, Yemen, Cuba, Sierra Leone, Venezuela, Somalia.
Why'd you do those?
It sounded like the Aristocats song.
Sierra Leone. Nothing's done. I'll often hear people say too, like, it's because the Jews control our government or Israel, and so they encourage open borders. And so really, that's the head of the beast, and Donald Trump is controlled by them. That's why we have so much immigration. It doesn't pass the reason test, though. He may not be perfect. This is more than any president has ever done to curb Islamic immigration in this country, period. Is that a factual statement? Comment. I'm not saying it's enough. He's done more than any other president in our lifetime to curb Islamic immigration, period. Is that a factual statement?
I think it is a factual statement, and I think that a lot of people would be mad about it.
Yes. Yes.
It's a factual that we're happy. It's like the segment we do. We're saying the same thing,
right?
Except they're mad about it. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing? We want these these Muslims here."
No, I think that's a great point, Josh. If he wasn't over the target on this, then he wouldn't see so many of the people on the left or people affected in these communities speaking out against what he's doing.
Right.
Obviously, he's doing something right.
And you know what I see? I see a lot of support on this from observant Jewish Americans.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where people go, the biggest issue, well, no, hold on a second. One of the biggest issues to me certainly is immigration. And I think Islamic immigration is a big part of it. Why? Because we need to be able to pick the kind of country we live in. And one of the levers that you can pull that can sort of result in something that is quantifiable is immigration policy. You can say, ooh, what kind of country do we not want to look like? Yemen, Sudan, Afghanistan. We're not bringing in people from there. It's one of the things that can be done and has not been done by previous presidents. Matter of fact, you hear the rhetoric quite a bit from those on the left who want to push this lie of the mosaic multiculturalism. According to people like Tim Walz and Somalis themselves, it's not you, it's actually them, Somali immigrants, who are the backbone of Minnesota.
The Somali community in Minnesota is a backbone of the state. We contribute to the economy, we serve our communities, we raise families, and we do it with pride. We are greater than fear, and to my Somali community, Iskasha Tomakufto, which means
What the hell's that, bro? She's like German and Irish.
They do not fall. We will continue to show up for
like a
one
bunch of white
another
people,
with
too.
courage.
In the back.
Thank you.
Somali waiting, Manta, 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 Somali waiting, Manta.
They got a karaoke screen up there for the white people.
Right.
We are greater than.
They have no idea what they're
As
saying.
far as demonizing our Somali community, maybe he could help us on some things.
kick him out?
Why would we help you?
Folks who are in the professions, educators,
Retard
artists,
alert.
doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs. They bring the diversity and
Somali
the energy
entrepreneur.
to a place like Minnesota. And for him to just randomly decide to do this, it makes no sense. Do your job. Get the criminals out. Secure our border, but do it
interesting.
with dignity and respect
really?
to the American tradition of respecting immigrants and refugees as a beacon of hope.
Yes, all those Somali entrepreneurs. We've seen them on Shark Tank.
Yes.
My idea is called Brother Sister Tinder. So it's like Tinder, but only for siblings.
Yes.
It's called Simder.
That's right. It's Simder. And you can only swipe left. Which one is yes or no? I don't.
Yeah.
You could only say yes. You bang your sister.
That last
Only
part.
the men swipe. The women have no choice.
They have no choice.
Yeah.
You swipe, they get sideswiped, but they like it.
I want to laugh. I can't.
You can also
because
find
the
us at
last part-
circumcisedbride.org.
Y'all are definitely funny. It's just that last part that he said is this is the ball game right here. This is what the left is going to do. That tradition of immigrants and refugees as a beacon of hope. Hold on. What happened to being a beacon of hope for people that are here?
Right.
What happened to that? Because we're not seeing a beacon of hope situation. What we're seeing right now is a city and a state being overrun and overtaken. And since when did you, Tim Walz, care about securing the border?
Right.
That was never a priority.
And by the way, let me
Ooh, I
just
got
tell
a
you.
political cartoon idea for Gerald.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lighthouse with a big beacon of hope at the top.
Yeah.
And the lighthouse, when you zoom in, the lighthouse is made of dead Americans.
Oh, I see what it's dark.
Wow.
That's crazy, Gerald. I can't believe he thought of that.
Yeah, I know.
I
It's a
didn't
good,
Send that to the Times.
yeah. Times of India.
Yes.
Jeez.
Also, by the way, let me just bring up this overlay. We put out a video last week showing the wonderful contributions of Somalia. Look at this reverse hockey stick graph. Tell me about throttling without throttling.
Speaking of
First
reverse-
6 hours got 142,000 plays and then nothing. So there are powers that be in big tech across the board and media, and those on the left, by the way, who absolutely don't want you to speak out against unfettered immigration. Organically was doing really, really well, and then bam, and I can show you so many videos where that happens. That's why we ask that you actually subscribe. Join Rumble Premium if you're not a member. We're funded by viewers like you.
Yeah.
That's it. One sponsor a day. And I do love to see that President Trump, again yesterday, this is very different from other presidents. He understands that you have the right to pick the country you want to live in. He doubled down on the ban.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any kind of time?
We don't want those people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is that a year, 2 years?
No time limit. Different countries that are not friendly to us and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country.
It's, and I want to get to not just Somalia, but other countries here. The left wants you to act as though we're not aware of emulation, as though that hasn't been how all civilizations have been brought into, well, really modern civilization ever, or it's the only way that civilizations that were behind have improved, right? It's looking at the civilization, looking at the nation that does it right, and making your country, make it look like the picture. Emulation. And instead, we have these people coming from these countries where there's female mutilation, where there's beheadings for leaving Islam, where there's dhimmitude, where there's gross violations of human rights, where there's been no progress, where there's no running water. The left wants you to look at those nations and say, hey, we're all equal. And it's really this simple. They come here, anyone who comes here emulates what we've done here. And we don't want a nation or people from a nation that has nothing worthy of emulation. In other words, if we don't see anything that we would want to copy from you, then we don't want to bring people from there. You want to come here, then you need to copycat, mimic what we do here to be welcome here. Otherwise, we emulate crap. Do you guys understand that? This is something that we have all known. Someone's going to be copying somebody, and this really the root of we've always had an immigration issue, is the perversion of refugee. Because let me tell you something, people who are actual refugees, those are the people who actually appreciate America. Think of Cuban refugees who left communism. They're not traveling back. They're not sending money back. Cuban American families from that era, if you send money back, you get disowned. Think about Russians who fled here right from the USSR. They're waving the American flag. They're not telling you that Russia is great. They're not traveling back and forth on vacation. Think about those South Africans who came here because their farms were being taken from them. They showed up and waved the American flag because they were actually leaving that nation. They wanted nothing to do with their previous nation. They shook the dust of that nation from their feet. People from Somalia coming here and still pretending like it's Somalia. People coming here from Mexico and not learning the language. They're not refugees. They're sending their money back and they're going to the land they fled on long weekends. Stay there. You're not welcome here. Because now we look at this country and say, well, what are we emulating? The foreign-born percentage of this country's population is higher than ever. Yeah. It's now at 15.8%. And that correlates directly with pride in America declining severely. Between 2001, I think, and 2025, the percent of adults in the United States who were either extremely or very proud to be American went from 87% to 58%. And the left will say that's Donald Trump. No. The division that takes place in this country, it's almost like it's by design, is not just one firebrand candidate. It's telling people that there's nothing to be proud of in this country, that there's nothing that unites us, that there's nothing that makes us actually American. And let me prove to you that it's by design. You have whole enclaves that can result nowhere in nature, only through policy. For example, Somalis in Minneapolis. The population is 87,000. There are entire swaths of the city that have turned into Little Mogadishu, where English isn't even spoken. Here you go. Watch this.
What's it like being a Muslim here in the United States?
I'm not speaking English.
Well. Get out.
What does it mean to you to be a part of Islam?
I don't know. I'm not speaking English.
Apo.
Can I ask any of you guys some questions? No.
Let me get your number, girl.
Speak English?
They really look like they're fleeing the culture of their previous country.
Do any of you speak English?
Does that look like people who are fleeing their previous culture?
It looks like people who ate the mighty ducks.
Yeah, exactly. Someone needs a knuckle puck. Now,
it was South Central.
I mean, think about, you go back and watch Moscow on the Hudson when they're talking about the United States, like, I want Coca-Cola, Lois Jeans, Macy's Parade. I'm using this to make a point. They looked at the United States and wanted to be a part of it. They came here and they spoke with an accent, but they were proud to be American. That doesn't look like those people. You, out. You need to, if you want what you see in this country, take it back to your country. Start making it look like this picture, and maybe we'll talk about you being let in. Also, if you do that, you wouldn't want to be let in. You'd be perfectly fine from that previous nation. Let's go to another enclave. Again, this takes place nowhere in nature.
Enclave.
It's a policy. North Texas, between 2010 to 2020, the Indian population exploded. It's currently at 544,000. And of course, you also know about the Epic Center, and you know about these constructions going on. Yeah. I can tell you that there are areas of Texas where if you are a white Texan, you are unwelcome, and you are a stranger in your own neighborhood where you used to have block parties. There are parts of North Texas that are completely unrecognizable. This guy got doxxed for this, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe that's Frisco, Texas, just north of Dallas.
Jeez.
And it even bleeds out to other areas in the state. My Costco, for example, they sell, I knew it was a problem, they started selling naan-bread, which I buy sometimes.
It's tasty.
I'm not going to lie.
So,
every now and then I get some naan-bread. But you know what? But we don't need the people. We'll take the unleavened bread. Again, this is okay. If you look at that and you go, but that doesn't look like America, that's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And it's not just culture. It is also religion. Race is a component. And really it's semantics. You're just saying people from this area of the world, people who look like, sound like, practice like this, feel less American to me. That's okay. Because guess what? They would say the same thing about you in their neighborhood. It's okay. And you do have a choice. And people who say, no, that has no place in conservatism, well, guess what? They're wrong. They're wrong. And of course, it also does come down to individuals. You can find some people from some of these places, they're exceptions, and an exception doesn't prove the rule, who may in fact be proud to be American.
That used to be the way they let people come in.
Right.
They'd find the exceptions, and then that person got approved.
You had to be exceptional.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the white population. Does that matter to you? Does it matter to you to have a significantly more white country than India? Because between 1950 and today, the non-white percent of the population in the United States has tripled. 1950, the non-white population was 12.5%. Today, it's 42%. That's a different country. That's a different country. And I don't want to hear people bullshit you and say, oh, what about the Italians and the Irish and the Germans? And, you know, they didn't view the Irish as white at one point, or the Italian. Shut up. Shut up. It's not the same as someone from South India. It's not. And we don't have the same cultural differences and problems that we have when people are coming from a country where one of their common holiday practices is to gang rape a water monitor lizard.
It's not really a holiday thing. That's
really kind of an everyday thing.
It's kind of an everyday. Yeah, it's not reserved for the holidays. It's like a tamale. It's great at the holidays, but you can have it anytime.
It's really a Friday thing. It's TGIGRWML Day. Thank God it's gang rape a water monitor lizard day.
TGI saw monitor water monitor lizard.
TGI, I can't finish the phrase. Look, she's teasing me.
That's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year round, Clark.
And you know what? And here's the thing. This same issue is being discussed regarding Britain with Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson I believe this was earlier this week. Let's see.
So the City of London is 36% white, and that's happened in the last, 40 years.
But England is about 70% white.
England.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was
London's the capital
it was
city.
99% in 1945.
Okay, so we've evolved.
But you're on the way to becoming the minority in the country. So no one wants to say that. I think you can get arrested for saying that here.
Well, no,
that's not white supremacy. This is the indigenous population of the country.
Well, it's a statistical fact that I think by 2100, we will be a minority white country.
2063, as of today.
Well, I've read a bit later.
But these are dynamic numbers, so they change.
Yeah, but here's my question for you. So what?
So big deal.
Wow.
Pierce. And by the way, I was invited to be on a show today. I wasn't able to make it. We're pretty busy.
Evolution evolved was a good term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because evolved means change to survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you just admitted to.
Yeah.
Oh, we're evolving. Oh, we're changing to survive. Survive what?
Right. Yeah. You're surviving an invasion. An invasion. And is it completely fine? Well, Lee Kuan Yew, the father of Singapore, as he's referred to, said this about America. He said, multiculturalism will destroy. He kind of sounds like George Takei in my mind. Multiculturalism will destroy America. There is a danger that large numbers of Mexicans, oh my, and others will continue to come to the U.S. and spread their culture across the whole of the country. If they breed faster than the wasps and are living with them, whose culture will prevail? They will change each other, but it would be sad for American culture to be changed even partially. That's an outside observer going, It's good for the world for the United States to be what it is. And it's okay for you to think so. Doesn't mean no blacks. Doesn't mean no browns. I'll tell you this, black Americans, they have their own problems, obviously crime being chief amongst them. Brown Americans, Hispanic Americans were right there. We fought some wars with the people of Mexico, just to be clear. So they're kind of part of the American cultural fabric in small amounts. I was always, you don't feel as though you're outside of America if you're in a church and a big percentage of it is black or Hispanic. Americans, assuming they speak the language, that's not the same.
Yeah, it's different.
As being in a town that's all Somali, as being in a town that's all Indian. That doesn't feel like the United States.
Yeah, it's different being in a city or a state that's named in the language of those people, like Santa Barbara, California, Tejas. Right. It's a little different.
Yeah.
There's no, there's no Mogadishu. It's Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah.
The father of Singapore is right. When I talk about the invasion, don't take my word for it. Leftists like Wajahat Ali, if that's how it's pronounced, I don't care. He can be upset about it. They will brag about it and just hope that you don't hear about it. This is their plan.
The mistake that you made is you let us in the first place. See, that's the thing with brown people. And I'm going to say this as a brown person. There's a lot of us. Like a lot. There's like 1.2 billion in India. There's more than 200 million in Pakistan. There's like 170 million in Bangladesh. Those are just the people there.
They should stay there.
I'm even talking about the folks who are expats or immigrants. There's a bunch of us. And we breed.
Like rats.
We're a breeding people. And the problem is you let us in 1965. There were a few of us beforehand. But once you let one of us in, you know what happens with brown folks? Our grandmother comes. Our grandfather comes, our uncle comes, our aunt comes, our cousin comes, our second cousin comes,
We're saying
our
the same
third cousin
thing.
comes. Then we have kids, a bunch of kids. And then guess what? Some white women, the Western civilization women, the pure women, the American women, quote unquote, the Rust Belt women, the real women, they like some of us brown folks.
They don't.
We don't take them.
Yeah,
they come to us. And then we have kids.
Against your
Now
will.
you got these beautiful caramel skinned kids. You can't get rid of us. We're here.
Want to bet? Now,
so what he's saying is that these countries, they have terrible women? That's what I got from it.
I also like the fact that he used the term the pure women. I think he's kind of using it tongue in cheek. But where he says they come to us, no, they don't. That's why you have rape and gang rape problems in your countries and any countries where you become a significant portion of the population. The good news is we have studies on these. They did a cross gender study where they had men rate women and women rate men of different races, right? They mixed the races all around. So when men were rating females, the most attractive were Asian women and the least attractive were black. When women were rating males, the most attractive were black and the least attractive were Asian. which includes, of course, places like India. And I know that South Asian, there aren't many studies that specifically rate women on Indian men because it would be embarrassing. But according to OkCupid, Indian men are the least successful. Oh. So there's more data there. And here's the funny thing. They receive the lowest response rate from Indian women. So we don't know if that's behavioral, if it's cultural, or if they're just as unattractive to Indian women as they are to white women. But that may explain the constant rape problem that is encountered with cultures of Indian men in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. We've gone through this, right? Sri Lanka, where the man just goes, "Here's my cook." That's their game. And the reason they can consider that game is because the women can't say no and they have no recourse. So it's true, they outbreed white people. Thanks again, those on the left who said we had an overpopulation problem and value material goods, like Uma Thurman's daughter. Thank you, left. And they say, they come here and by the way, your women want us. No, they don't. And this is not an accident. You have people intentionally not only undermining our country through policy, but again, birth rates. If you followed the left's prescription from, let's just say, the 90s through today, you'd bring in as many people from these other nations as you could possibly fit, as quickly as you could bring them in, accelerated, of course, under Barack Obama from Islamic countries. American families, white working American families, would have no children. They would downsize and move to tiny homes. And we would end up being little Bangladesh. If you were to follow the prescription of the left, you would have no more United States of America. And you can see that through policy like the census, by the way, where they changed that rule to count illegal aliens. They, by the way, Democrat politicians, they had a new H-1B bill to double the current H-1B cap. And it was introduced by, surprise, Raja Krishnamurti. Guess
America
where?
First.
Yeah, exactly. America first. And then, so we have that.
He's from Milwaukee, right?
I believe, yeah.
Born and raised.
Mogadishuwaki. The Vikings, what is it now? The Vikings are what? What are the Vikings? The water monitor lizard rapists? I don't. Then you also have Islam. Right? You also have Islam, and this is antithetical to the United States, because the problem is that a lot of Americans, in thinking that we're conserving liberty, and we should, liberty for American citizens, right? Law and order matters so that liberty can exist. You can't have liberty without laws, without order, and that liberty is afforded to those in the United States, to those who identify, that word, you love that, leftist, right, as American, not as a crash pad, a place to land for a little bit. Then you look at Islam. Well, they want to outbreed. They want to subvert this nation. Why? Well, they're actually called to eradicate all non-Islamic societies. And there's a prescription on how to do it. And it involves a lot of war. It involves a lot of beheading. It involves fewer clitori. And it also involves, sorry guys, I'm just telling you, and it also involves breeding when war doesn't work. And there are calls all across this country from Islamists to end America as you know it.
Glory to all the martyrs, glory to the axis of resistance. May we see victory within our lifetimes. Margbar America, Margbar Israel.
This is why he would say to pour all of your chants and all of your shouts upon the head of America.
Al-Mawti America! Al-Mawti America!
Look at this room's mother. We ain't going anywhere. Real change.
Except the buffet.
She swore. It comes from the streets. It comes from all of us mobilizing and seizing the power to resist and fight back. Now we're in Congress.
Oh, you want to fight?
We're every corner of the United States.
Change must
corners,
come.
Like rats.
And in the form that it must come is that this empire, the American empire that's been hurting our people since the beginning, the imperial Western powers that have been hurting our people since the beginning, they must fall. And inshallah, they will fall.
Get out.
I'm confused. Hold on. The Western society, they've been hurting our people. You've never gotten it right.
No. The Western culture that is hurting our people. Do I talk into this camera using electricity?
Jeez.
Inshallah, they will fall. Ah, yes, that great merciful God of yours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, in his name, others will die. That's good.
For some reason, it's only with modern Christian society that you're able to broadcast with a camera using electricity and polymers and petroleum products, creating prescription lenses, as well as your silly terrorist Enrique Iglesias equivalent hat, and insulation in your jacket so that you can withstand the colds as opposed to crawl into a camel like some terroristic Luke Skywalker. Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan actually kind of, and I think people are misrepresenting this, but certainly downplayed this threat in their conversation more than I would have liked to see.
But there is a very lovely, quaint notion being built up in the United States, driven by people like Tommy Robinson here.
Who's Tommy Robinson?
You know Tommy Robinson.
He seems like a fraud to me.
Well, he's not even Tommy Robinson. His name's Stephen Yaxley. It's not even his real name. He's also convicted of multiple crimes, thuggery, fraud.
I don't even know anything about him, but he doesn't seem like he's that into Britain.
We would call him a little shit stirrer, right? But this idea that he's driven, that we're on the verge of some sort of civil war here. Do you feel that when you walk around?
No, because that's my point. You're so passive. I could say that there are so many things about London I really like. I've been here 3 days, again, visiting relatives who
have you genuinely
who
felt
here.
threatened walking around?
No, not at all.
Of course.
Again, who's going to do anything? Pakistanis are all super nice to me, and the whites are all kind of craven and sad. No, you're totally safe here, man.
Now, and people took that out of context, whereas he was saying it tongue in cheek. But I will say this: I kind of think Tucker might know Tommy Robinson.
Tommy Robinson, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us.
So they had to coax him on the show.
And by the way, like, no, I think he means to like, no, I feel fine. Pakistanis are really nice to me. Sure, because they also have to dance around calling out the real problem. Islam.
Yeah.
Islam is a problem. Islam is a problem, and that's a problem. Yeah, as a relatively large white man, you're probably mostly fine. If you're a woman, no, rape. I don't know if you know this. It's a trend. It's like the Tickle Me Elmo of this year's Christmas there in the UK. So non-Britons are 71% more likely to commit sex crimes.
Whoops.
No, that can't be right.
Specifically, Afghans and Eritreans. Do I have that right? Eritreans. I've heard it. I've read it. Never heard it pronounced.
Eritreans, yeah.
20 times more likely to commit sex crimes.
And I know that they have veterans over there. We have veterans over here. They have veterans over there in the UK that came back from Afghanistan and said, hey, maybe we shouldn't bring all these people here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a different culture. And they'll go, oh, you're racist.
Yeah.
No,
American veterans been saying this for 24 years.
Well, isn't it funny where the left goes, you can't go and nation build, and try and turn them into America. It doesn't work. And by the way, I agree. Every single war in the Middle East and that area of the world has failed because they don't want to be America. But the same people on the left, the Code Pink, go, but bring them all here. It'll work. Rape is up huge in the UK. From 2002 to 2024, it went from 12,000 to 72,000, a 6 times increase. A 6 times increase. Rape.
Wow.
Almost to the point of, I mean, I say this, sort of, not really, but getting closer to mirroring the nations from which these people fled.
Yeah.
The refugees. The problem is these refugees are fleeing these nations, but they're bringing their rape with them, like a sexual assault carry-on. Just last week, the British actress, Genevieve, is it Genevieve Chenauer?
Like that.
She was assaulted in London just before an audition. No one's safe.
Guys, literally 5 minutes before my audition, I was walking around the corner in Oxford Circus, and this guy just looks at me and targets me and hits me, and I'm against the wall.
She's afraid to describe him.
Right about to arrive for my audition. And it's so nerve-wracking for me being out in central London now. And I just got my confidence up and was looking and moving back. Why are there not more police on the street? I should be able to go to a policeman on the street and be like, this just happened, But it's not big enough that the police can come.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something too. People are going to say, people go, are you saying that it's worse because it might have been if it's some brown guy, a Bangladesh? Are you saying that's worse than someone who's native to the UK doing it? Yeah, I am. I'm saying that gutturally, it's worse to see a mongrel who has no business being in that country in the first place, but is there by design, from a master plan from the left. Just like, are you saying it's worse that Zarutska was killed by a black man? Well, I am, because it's by design where a man was released 14 times in the name of equity. You know what you heard Uma Thurman's daughter, who gleefully celebrated abortion, said that she's there to fight for equity. Now, of course, she lives in a wealthy area and she's protected, but equity just means that, think of this, if you try and ensure equity across races, cultures, religions in a place like the United States or Europe, you're just equalizing crap. You're bringing us down to that level. Yeah, it's worse because they had no business being here in the first place. No one's saying you can eradicate all crime. Let me make this really simple. In the UK, you've had crime. I've seen the old films, pickpockets. It's kind of quaint now.
Yeah.
They had crime. You can't get rid of all crime, but you can not choose to bring more crime in. There's a very big difference. Put it this way. Imagine you have a kennel of puppies. Let's say you have 3 or 4 dogs, right? You live on a farm. And one of your dogs gets into a fight with the other dog. It happens. It's terrible. Is it as bad as a dog coming into your yard and killing yours? One strikes you as worse, doesn't it? Because it's your job to make sure that that doesn't happen. You're tasked with keeping your kennel, flock, if they're sheep, safe. It's different. One is human nature, crime. One is a betrayal. One is a failure of those who are elected specifically to prevent this kind of activity. And I'm going to tell you, you can pick the kind of country that you live in. You have the right to, but you've got to stand up with one voice right now to do it before there aren't enough of you left. I'm going to get to the one exception in Europe. Because what you're seeing across most of Europe is Islamists taking over, seems like a small thing, but it's not, entire Christmas markets and celebrations throughout all of Europe.
Your music sucks.
That's actually I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
The intro.
Now, there's one exception. You can choose the country you live in. You know, like Islamic countries do themselves. Poland, their policy is flat-out refusal to accept migrants under the EU Pact on migration and asylum. And the Prime Minister of Poland, Donald Tusk, actually stated this. He said, "As I said, Poland will not accept migrants under the Migration Pact, nor pay for it. That's already a decision. We do, we don't talk." And of course, the left says, oh, gosh, these people are extremists. These people are authoritarian. Yeah, because Poland would have no interest in trying to preserve their country. It's not like they've been wiped off the face of the map since almost always and became a proverbial punchline. But now they're kind of having the last laugh. You may notice their Christmas market looks a whole lot more, you know, how you want it to look.
Oh, you mean like Christmas?
You can choose the kind of country that you live in. You can want to live in a country, and you can make that so. The United States of America is for Americans, not the third world. Let me put a really fine point on this. You go to a restaurant and you look at the beer list and you have domestic and then you have imported. Let's say you veer over to the imported list and you order it and you taste it. What does it taste like? Does it taste imported? You import the third world, it's going to look like the third world. It's that simple. You have a choice to make now. Don't allow guilt or browbeating or shame from the worst that our countries have to offer, the progressive left. Don't allow that to affect your decision-making or the ability to have a conversation. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the Live Daily Show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.